Good morning, everyone. How are you? This is Lee Bailey bringing you Be Encouraged this morning. I hope you will be encouraged today. We are without a guest today, unfortunately. That's okay. I got my dates mixed up. Next week, we will have Christie Cornwell on with us. She is a good longtime friend and also a psychologist whose specialty is, of course, encouraging people. Now we'll talk to her about that when we talk to her next week about what she does exactly and where she's coming from. And she's definitely going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about mental health and how that's affecting the world right now, and how we can encourage people who are having some issues with mental health. And that's going to be an exciting thing. Um, One of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today was of course, that's one of the issues that's been on my mind heavily because I've got several people that I know who are dealing with depression and having some real hard times getting on the other side of the day. You know, they start off the day and it just goes downhill, and they have a hard time getting to the end of the day without just not having a good day. So, one of the things I wanted to address somehow from me, from a layman's point of view, is how do we encourage those who are dealing with difficulty? I know spiritually, in a spiritual sense, I want to be able to talk about things that are in the Bible, things that were said by Jesus, for instance, but that's not always the safe route to go as far as encouraging people, because they're in a place where they're feeling a lot of despair. And and when you're in that place, there's a lot of where are you, God, if there is a God, that kind of questions that come up. I know I've been there. I mean, that's happened to me. But then I'm very quickly reminded. So, but not everybody is that quickly reminded. So I want to discuss some of the alternative ways to let people know that you care about them. I brought up a couple of things like some things that you can say to someone that's struggling with something. Maybe it's they're struggling with that work stuff they're doing virtually, and they just can't get over the hump. You might say something to them like, "You got this, man. This is something you got. You know how to do this. This is what you're good at." Maybe even saying just, I know this won't be easy, but I also know you've got what it takes to get through it. And that can be an encouraging thing to say to someone, even though they really feel like they don't have what it takes. If you just remind them that someone believes in them, I think that can be a huge, huge plus for them. Um, keep on keeping on. These are kind of a little bit on the what should I say? Let's go to our comments and see if people are commenting in. Good morning. One question I wanted to ask the therapist. Well, she's not on today, though, buddy. Can folks deal with stress during this pandemic? And of course they can. That's what she's going to be on for us with us, and going to be discussing how people can deal with stress during the pandemic. Um, Time to kick cancer's ass. Well, I'm sure there's people who are in that position as well, as far as their depression is concerned. They might be suffering from an illness or disease or COVID or cancer or something like that, that they just feel like that they got the short end of the stick, or the short straw. They drew the short straw, and they're not getting that good luck, or they're not getting that good vibe that they felt like they should be getting, or they have been getting, and they feel like, oh, here it is, here's the end. Um, and those are just a few little things that you could say to somebody to give them some encouragement in their day, keep them on top of what they're doing. Hope you're doing awesome. Give somebody a call, a friend, not even yeah, it's got to be a friend, right? You don't have very many phone numbers for people who aren't friends. But let's give people a call and say, how are you doing today? Let's check in with them, check in with people that you don't normally check in with. Just give a holler to somebody and say, hey, um, I just felt like I needed to call you and tell you you're awesome. You know, like I would say to my friend David Ing, you're awesome, dude. Don't be worried about anything else. And then there's my buddy Tura. Tura gives me, and he gives me a reason to do what I do, because he's got such faith in me, and I appreciate that more than he knows. And then there's, like, you can say something like, you know how often I think of you? Always. You know, just remind people that you're thinking about them. You know, remind people. Don't do this. Okay, this is a little levity I'm going to bring into this thing. Don't do this. I was thinking about calling friends of mine who I think might be depressed. So I thought of you. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. They're going to be like going, oh, when have I ever let off that vibe? No, but you can call people and say, hey, I just wanted to call and say, hey, see how you doing. Make sure everything's good, and ask you if there's anything I can pray for you for, or you can ask anybody that you can, you know, give them some good thoughts towards, or something like that. And, you know, that's something you can do, and you can do that right now. You know, I'm sure someone comes to mind right now. There's several friends. In fact, when we get off air, I'm going to call a few of my friends and just wish them a happy day. Hey, just call to say happy day. And you never know how much that affects somebody. How would it affect you? You know, think about that. If you think, if think about this, if somebody out of the blue, say the person you're thinking of, what if they called you and said, hey, I was just thinking about you, wanted to say have a happy day? You know, I mean, how would that affect you? Make you feel good, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it make you feel good? Yeah, of course it would. And so that's the way you should approach other people. You know, just send them good vibes, good thoughts. Let's see who else is chiming in today. Michelle Ann Cruz. Hello, Michelle Cruz. Oh, that's my Michelle. Michelle, my belle. Tura Arsala. David Eng. Please like and share the program if you're listening. I know there's not much going on today, and I don't have a cool guest today, but I have a little bit of wisdom in the ways of the world, and I've been around for 55 years. Whoosh. And so I know a little bit about this, a little bit about that. And one of the things I know about is encouraging people. It's something that I've kind of dedicated my life to, and that's why we have this radio station, MoreJoy Radio, which you can see right above my head, our little logo. And it's there because I want to encourage as many people across the board as I can every day. But I know also that I need to just pick up the phone and make a call. And make a call to that person, or now with Facebook and with Instagram, sending them a little message saying, hey, was thinking about you today. Have a happy day. And, you know, don't do that too often to one person that you don't know that well, because they might think you're stalking them. But just once in a while, a little note always makes people feel good, buoys them up, and it gives them a reason to take the next step. Sometimes, you know, it really does. There's been so many stories about the kid who came into school, and the kid who's been really struggling in their life, and they're very depressed and a little suicidal even. And they've decided that this day is the day. And I've heard this has happened before. And you know this has. I mean, most people have heard these stories, and this is true stuff. Whereas someone said to you, said a teacher came up, put a hand on his shoulder, and said, how are you doing today? And said something encouraging, something beautiful, and encouraged them and said something nice to them. And then that kid comes back later. Actually, this is one of the ones. The kid was in middle school. Teacher she was super duper with him. And all through his middle school years, and then as he went into high school, he would still come back and visit her and say hi. And she was always very gracious and loving and caring and kind to him. And she got a mail in the mail, and they kind of lost track. And then one day she got in the mail an invitation to graduation for this young man, and she decided, oh yeah, I definitely want to go to that. So she went to his graduation from college. And he came up to her afterwards and he said to her, you know, there was a day in middle school that you came up and put your hand on my shoulder and told me that everything was what I was doing was great, and you keep up the good work. And I want you to know that that day I had planned to kill myself, and your words made the difference in me not doing that. And now look where I am. And you know, can you imagine if someone said that to you? And you can be that person for someone, even if and don't you don't do it to hopefully get a letter like that from a kid. That's not why you do it. If it happens, it happens. But you do it because you know that if I touch the heart of 10 of these kids, you know, I don't know what the statistics are, but if I touch the heart of 10 of these kids, maybe one of them won't go down the wrong road, whether it be suicide, whether it be criminal, whatever it is. There's so many things that you can do just by saying a word or maybe just a smile and a head nod, you know, as you're passing them in the hallway at a school. That's a school setting, of course. In a church setting, you have youth group kids, and they come because their moms and dads make them come. They're not really into coming. They tell. I've had kids in youth group tell me, I don't believe in God, and all I'm here. You know, I'm saying you don't have to believe in God to be here. You know, um, and that's hard. That was hard for me the first time a kid ever said that to me. You know, why am I here? I don't even believe in God. And I was like, ah. And a wise pastor who I went to and said, what do we do? What do we do? He said, nothing. Just let God, you know, let go and let God. And I don't know. I don't know what happened to that young lady. I loved her dearly. She's a sweet girl, but I don't know what happened to her. And I'm hoping that she did have an experience with God, and maybe that experience she had was through me. I don't know. You know, she was a sweet, awesome girl, and you know, I've lost track. I tried to find her, look her up, I couldn't find her. But one of these days, I'm going to get back in touch with that young lady and say, "Hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Think about you a lot, you know, that kind of thing." And hopefully that makes a difference in her life. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I've had though letters written to me by kids, and of course it was an assignment, but they had the ability to write to anybody they wanted to in the school. And I've gotten a couple different letters from people, from kids who, you know, I just sat there and cried reading them because they're so nice and sweet, and they're so wonderfully encouraging to me. Because the person was saying that I encourage them every day and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you what, it touches my heart when you get something like that. But that's again not the reason that you do it. You don't do it to get accolades. You don't do it to get a pat on the back. Um, that's not the reason why you want to encourage people and love on people and care about people and give people grace. There's lots of people in my life that I give extra grace to because they have struggles that are difficult, and they, you know, and there's a struggle there, so I don't want to be more of a struggle to them. Somebody else liked our page. We love this. We love when they like the show. Who? Oh, it's my Gib Gish. Gib Gish. I'm not even calling her Amy anymore. Might call her Liz. I wonder if anybody's ever called her Liz. Um, Amy Gish, ladies and gentlemen, on the mic. Amy is awesome, and you know, there's lots of things you can do to encourage people, to make them smile. You know, I love smiling at people and seeing how contagious it is. You know, like I do that. Teenagers are especially fun. You smile at them and you see them involuntarily starting to smile back. And they think about it and go, and they don't want to, when they see like, hi, oh, no, I'm not supposed to smile on it. I'm a teenager. I'm a frumpy teenager that's not supposed to smile at anything. It's almost like you can see that going through their brain, and then they typically smile again. Typically, or I'll giggle and laugh, and then they'll start laughing. You know, like I caught you doing that. You know, I know what you're thinking, And that's the other thing too, is that, when you make that address to when you address someone, and you address them where they are. I talk to kids like kids talk to kids. Sometimes not. Sometimes I talk to. I mean, obviously, I'm the adult, but um, they find it. They think it's. I'm sure they make fun of me behind my back that I. Well, how come Mr. Bailey calls people dude? But mostly I call people ma'am and sir, even kids, and the kids look at me like, sir. I'm like that. That's just everybody. That's how I was raised. Um, but there's all kinds of ways to encourage, and that's adults too. Because once you get to be a teenager, you really are transitioning into that adulthood. Because in most places in the world, teenagers are adults, except in the civilized world. The civilized world, when you're 21, you start to become an adult. But in some tribes and in areas of the world, when you get to be like 13 or 12 or 13, you're an adult. Women are women, men are men, young men are young men, young women are young women. And, there's lots of stuff going on in the world that we don't understand because we live in our own little bubble of capitalism and society that's just doesn't see how the hunter-gatherer sect or subjects, how they go about their business every day. They go about their business. They're human beings just like us, but they're brought up in a different kind of atmosphere that causes them to think about things differently and how they need to address things differently than we do. And if you try and, it's really funny because if you try and bring in a whole nother societal way of doing things, it screws the whole thing up for them. So, I think it's fine. People don't have to have cars. They don't have to have all the trappings of living a life in America, which not everybody in America has a car, but not everyone in America has food on the table every night. So these are the kind of things we have to remember in our daily lives, that the people we encounter, we don't know what their home life is. But one thing we can do is we can encourage them. We can say good morning. We can say hi, how are you? We can say, is there anything I can do for you? And sometimes that people are taken aback by that, and their pride gets in the way, and they're like, oh no, why would you even say that? And you can't prejudge people either. You can't judge a book by its cover, as they say. You look at someone who's struggling, and maybe they don't have their hair done just perfectly, and maybe they've got some holes in their jeans, which is now a fashion statement, or they've got worn out clothing. Again, now is a fashion statement. People pay a lot of money for those clothes. So yeah, why don't you go take them and sell them to somebody, and then get something else that doesn't have the holes if that's not what you're looking for your for yourself. Anyway, but there's lots of ways to look at it. Good morning to my Amy. She said good morning to me. And maybe Amy will come on with me this morning a little bit. We can talk a little bit because she's fun to talk to. She's a wise sage as well. A sage of wisdom. I guess, is that the right thing to say? The sage of wisdom? I don't know. We'll ask Amy if she wants to come on with us this morning. I'm going to send her a link. And there it is. She knows how to use it. She's one of the crew, y'all. And on Friday nights, you can watch the crew. The crew comes on at 8 o'clock on Friday nights. Might be changing that to 8:30, but I think we're going to start up at 8 o'clock. And people just join in as they can. They can be part of the crew as long as your video and everything is worked out and on time. So one of the things that we can address, and I'd love to get comments from people. My young friend David Ing, he says he gets anxiety when he's at home alone, and but he doesn't get it when he's working. So, and right now there is a job issue for David, and I'm hoping that's going to be resolved. I'm praying that'll be resolved. And David is part of the crew. He just can't come on because his computers doesn't sync up with his picture. So we got to get that fixed. And as soon as we do, David can join the crew. Anyway, I don't know if Amy's going to have time to come on with us this morning. She works. She has a job. So, and I don't think that her bosses are watching, however, Amy. So you can join me and we can talk for another less than 10 minutes. How about 8 minutes, Amy, of your time? So basically what we've been talking about this morning is how to encourage people. I don't know why I just dug in my ear. I apologize. That's someone said it's. I heard someone say one time that is as disgusting as picking your nose, and I was like, I didn't think it was. I mean, it's just kind of scratching my ear. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm out of the loop on in this world. So, but I really was taken aback when I heard that digging in your ear is just the same as picking your nose. I don't believe that. Now, if I dig in my ear and then put it in my mouth, yeah, that's not right. You're never far from my thought. Here's some examples of a simple thinking of you encouragement. Okay, I'm gonna read this list to you. You're never far from my thoughts. Just tell somebody that. It makes them feel good. They're like, oh, that's nice of you to say. Know how often I think of you? Always. I already read that one before. You're on my mind and in my heart. On my mind and in my heart. That's just a quick little text, y'all. These are little texts. This is what I'm going to put it this way. This is what you should text to somebody. And you know what else is cool? What you ought to do also is you can make a little video like on Snapchat and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. You're awesome. You're special. Boom, done. I'm keeping you close in my thoughts, lifting you up in prayer and hoping you have a better day today. I can't wait to catch up with you soon. I just wanted you to know you're in my mind and in my prayers. I'm thinking of you and I'm just a text or phone call away. And I hope you don't feel alone as you go through this time. My heartfelt thoughts and prayers are with you all the way. Now, of course, that's that's something you can say to somebody even now in this COVID time. That's something that sounds like you would say to them if they just lost a parent or someone that they're close to just got diagnosed with a bad thing. That sounds like something you would say, but you know what? Those are good to say right now. There's a lot of people struggling with COVID, so there's a lot of people out there doing that. Addiction recovery. I hope you feel your inner strength building day by day. And this is tough, but you're tougher. I like saying things like that to my son. I'm proud of you for walking this road, for doing what's right for you. And you're making a big change, and that's really a big deal. I know what you're going through is hard, but I'm rooting for you every minute of every day. Now, I would suggest to you that statement, I know what you're going through is hard. If you haven't been through it, and that person you're talking to knows you haven't been through it, you don't have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Authenticity, because you can say, I can't imagine how hard this is for you, but I'm here with you every step of the way, or every minute of every day. That's the way you would say that. I think that's the empathetic way, and not the sympathetic. And if it's sympathetic, you can be sympathetic if you've been through trials like that. I've been through similar, and then I would even say, I've been through similar struggles, and I want you to know that I'm with you every day of every minute, and I'm thinking about you. I love you no matter what. You're being incredibly brave. I'm proud of you. It takes serious courage to get on this path and stay on it. Good on you. And stay strong and remember how many people care about you. I'm one of them. And that's the other thing most people don't realize This is an interesting thought process, but I know that I want to think, and so far I haven't come across somebody that I don't. I do love everybody that I've ever met or known. And I feel like I love all those people that I haven't yet met. And so I can say with authority that I love everybody because I know God does and God loves me. And so I am called to share that love with the world. That's the golden rule. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, but love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. And you should love yourself. Absolutely 100%. You should love yourself. And then you should then love your neighbors and your friends. Because if God loves you, no one can be against you. If God is for you, no one can be against you. If God loves you, no one can take that away. It's something that he's inherent. It's inherent. So anyway, we're about the end of the show today. I guess it went pretty well. I hope it did. I hope you got some encouragement out of this today. If you haven't liked and shared the program, or just liked it, or loved, or cried tier one, whatever, just let us know you're out there. And I would appreciate that more than you can imagine. And it would help me a great deal if you would just hit the like button or the love button or the smile, laugh button, whatever it is. Just let us know you're out there. Let us know that you're, we have a friend that I looked up and I saw that somebody hit the angry one. And I was like, oh man, what are they angry about? And I looked to see who it was. And it was a good friend of mine. And I knew there's no way she's gonna do that. And she texted on the comments, I hit the wrong button. But she doesn't realize she could have changed it, but she didn't. That's okay. My main man David ain't got a new job. That's awesome. I know that where he was working, they were closing down. So I'm glad that he got a new job. That is awesome. Really super duper, David. Very proud of you, and I'm very happy for you, pal. Anyway, that's it for me. Time has run out. So I want to say thank you for all those tuning in. Tura, Arsala. Hey, Tura, what's today's? See, every other day you write happy whatever day, and then, but on Thursdays you don't ever, you just say happy Thursday. I say, sure, happy it's Thursday. Sure, happy it's Thursday. That's not right. All right, guys, write that down and see what I mean by that. Peace out to you. The snow, who knows? In this Fairfax area, we're supposed to get snow overnight and then all day today. And right now it's snowing, then it's not snowing, whatever. Who knows what's going on? But we're not having a snow event they had promised us. They never promised, though. So they always hedge their bets every time they make a prediction. No one gets serious about it. Thanks for watching today on the Be Encouraged program. You guys mean something to us. We hope that we encourage you on a daily basis, and we thank you.